evening. Oh, welcome to another exciting show. Hey, and we've got was it Debbie Doobie? Debbie Doobie, and we got Eric of Fockham. Or I was going to put Fockham or Eric, but I thought that's a bit.
I don't know. It'll work.
Fockham or Eric. So, well, we've got an important announcement to make, haven't we? That's the reason I've got my jacket on. And the important announcement is Deb has got her very own YouTube channel.
YouTube channel.
YouTube channel.
So,
well, if we can, we were looking for it, and I believe you lost
it.
I've got to take us off because it's only the narrow strip of it, isn't it?
Yeah, so, I need to do it that way. But anyway,
here it comes. Good luck, Deb. Now let's all go, and you're gonna have 1,000 subscribers within time. So
I'm happy with that.
And I'll put it down the bottom. No, not my crutch. The below this.
Thank you.
Right, that's right. Now, I've got to do some acting of seriousness now, very sadness. And I'd like to know what sort of sadness you'd like. You see, I've got the Sherry Blair, when she goes, the sort of real, or you've got the Rolf Harris.
That either works.
You've got the bottom lip quiver. I don't know. I think the bottom lip quiver is a little bit artistic, isn't it? The sort of, that sort of thing. Because I do like it when politicians act say that is the sort of
the big pauses in between sentences.
That's right. And you could, well, what it is, we must be sad at the passing of Miles's Chromebook.
Yes,
because it died today. And what happened? We did a test run, and it worked absolutely perfectly.
Then blew up.
That's right. It blew up. Oh, hang on, sorry. No, I shouldn't laugh. It's got to be.
It is a sad, sad day.
Wish John Hamer's computer would blow up. Should we go and swap it round while she's asleep? Creep into his room, sort of swap them round.
Yeah, get shut of it. Then we can have him back on again.
John, we didn't say it. We didn't make it, but no. He texted me today. It's blown up. And another weird thing that's happened now, those of you who are on Facebook or ask about Facebook will have noticed that I haven't really posted anything on Facebook today because I've got an iPad. I know I've got ointment for it, and and it'll
clear up soon.
It'll clear up soon, yes. And don't tell anybody, I mean. Apple iPad, and it's embarrassing, isn't it? And they said, what is it? He drives a smart car and owns an Apple iPad.
Yeah, it's not right, is it?
Bad bastard, Anyway, what's happened is something weird happened, you see. I went to bed last night. There was about 54% on the battery. Right. Got up this morning, dead as a bleeding dodo. So I went, oh dear, what a shame. So I did some very gentle technical work on it. Bloody thing. Sorry. I was sort of tapping this rhythm out. Bloody thing. Anyway.
Should have drop kicked it.
Yes, I felt like that. So anyway, I plugged it in. It's a bit of an old one. And I thought, this is strange. The battery symbol came up. And it's still on charge now. It's been on charge all day. And it's only about 40%. The battery was okay with it.
Weird.
So it might be. So it seems that it's coming out. It's so sad of the loss of Miles's
Out in
crony.
sympathy.
It's come out in sympathy. But I'm not that impressed with Apple, actually.
No, I'm not.
I'm really not. I think
Don't
they're
like
just,
iPhones either.
and I'm thinking they're going for a Samsung. Because
Yes.
the thing is, I don't want to put my main computer on in the morning, but what I do is, I know it's another sad thing. Do you do this? When you're eating your breakfast, I'm answering my emails and going
I
on
don't do
Facebook.
breakfast. Coffee and
Mm,
fags are my breakfast.
yeah, well, all to everyone to their own. But anyway, I'm sitting there, so I'm a sad bastard. You eat me porridge. Oh, we got Facebook, man. I don't like that. I'll put that on Oh, hang on. I haven't put me pre-program makeup on. Just one moment. There we go.
Oh, yes. There we go. Bit of
There we
buff in there.
Bit the old lippy, Here we go.
That's it.
Look at that. So it takes the
Oh.
time to make myself look beautiful. This is for the top tip, actually. No, not using this. So,
Yes.
should we start off before we start the show? Should we have some? Won't have any tinkly music for bleeding computers, will we? But
No.
should we have some tinkly music for everybody that's been pissed off this week because poor old Michelle, she's
There's
a
a
bit
lot
down.
of it going round.
That's right, Michelle from Bolton, she's a bit down. We're all a bit down, so why don't we have a bit of the old, for ourselves? Let's be a bit selfish, shall we?
Positive tinklies.
That's right. And everybody is a bit down, Yes. Yay.
There we go. I feel better for that.
Everybody's a bit down. Cheer up. Poor old John Eamon's a bit down. Well, so let's cheer us up. Hey, that's it.
There we go.
That's it. Right, now tonight's show, we've got a few other things coming up. We've got the fake guru, the Fogham Hall's very own guru coming up. We've got top tips, which this is a bit of a clue. Plus we've got a serious announcement to make. So should we make the serious announcement? It's only for where I live, actually, near where I live. I've discovered that there's some serious developments happening around where I live.
Oh.
And Marriott Hotel, people know about. They're going to have asylum seekers going in there. They're not opening to guests. And the local quacks have got to take on 300 more people, apparently.
Yes, that's happening all over because that's happening not far from us as well.
Yes. And there's something dramatic. Now, I've got to double check this because I get feed sourced from all different areas. And at Waltham Cross, there's something happening. And there's something happening in Cheshunt itself, which is not good, which they're covering up with undesirables moving in, shall we say.
Right.
So there may be a leaflet campaign soon, so you never know. But I've got to find out first. I've heard this second-hand news from people. The person that told me said, we need to start to put leaflets out. So I said, yes, because my attitude is we've got to stop it locally, civil disobedience locally, and no, we're going to put a stop to it because I've had some really good news today. I've seen a write-up by someone, which I will post on my social media, on Fogham Hall on Facebook group, yes, nowhere else, that someone rather famous has written that reckons that the World Economic Forum is dying.
Right.
And these are the last gasps, and he's got evidence. So something cheery to make it. Well, that sounds but dying, no, but you know what I mean. He reckons that they're not. We got this impression that they're all well organised. No, they're not. And he reckons that they're not. He said they're desperate, absolutely desperate.
Ooh.
So that's it. So unless you're on our Facebook group, you won't see it, will you? No, actually, you can. Anybody look on there. That's right. And it'll also go on to Gab as well. I'm on Gab. Yes. Anyway, on with the show. Right. So we got ghoulies. And we're going to be talking about ghoulies, aren't we? And ghosts.
Ghosties and ghoulies.
And also are you being watched? Do you ever have the feeling? I tell you something I often get. You lose something, you think, where the bleeding hell's that go? And next day, it's on your table.
I have a perfect example of that.
Hmm.
When I used to work in well, it didn't really matter where I worked, but when I worked in mental health, I used to have a routine when I'd come in on a day shift more than a night shift. But I'd come in at afternoon time, I'd shut the door, I'd put my cigs and my lighter on top of the fridge freezer. I'd go do whatever I'd got to do, and then I'd make myself a drink, and then I'd pick them up, take them into the room. I did this every day without fail. So this particular day, did all that, put the kettle on, got my tea, went to pick my cigs and lighter up, gone. I'm like, did I put them there? Went out to the car, checked all my pockets in my bag, went out to the car, went everywhere. I hadn't even been upstairs, so I knew that wherever they were either in the car or downstairs. Nowhere to be seen. So I stood in the kitchen and I'm like, right, whoever's taking them, can they put them back, please? And I went in the room, put my tea in the room, came back into the kitchen. There they were on top of the where I should have left them on top of the fridge freezer. And it wasn't a matter of I hadn't seen them; they weren't there because I even put my hand. I mean, my fridge freezer wasn't one of the tall ones; it was one that I could see the top of at the time.
Well,
Not the rest had been lifted.
that's weird because there was many years ago there was a clairvoyant type chap who what he did, he lived in a house in Cambridge, and Cambridge is it is a very haunted sort of county. It's a weird place, and he said that he would be in his house and suddenly hear a clang, 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 and look round. There'd be something like a key dropped, and when he picked this key up, and I say it's a key, it was some article. I can't remember what it was, but let's say it's a key. When he went to have it looked at by an expert, it was about several hundred years old. It just come from nowhere.
Apport. That was an apport.
A port.
Apport, that's what they call them when something appears from nowhere that's not yours.
That's weird.
There was I don't know if anybody's ever, people in the chat will probably know about this, but I don't know if anybody's read the book. There was a thing that took place called the Skull experiment in a place in Norfolk called Skull. And basically they used the basement of a house. They blacked out any light source or anything. It was a dark basement. And they set up all these experiments. They had mediums. There was about 8 of 12 people. And they had locked boxes that things would appear in. They had film that hadn't even been opened, rolls of film. Remember in the little tubs, the rolls of film? They had those unopened in a locked box. And when they went to get them developed, there were pictures on them of buildings, of people. They hadn't even been in a camera and all this sort of thing. But they got apports as well. They got a newspaper from 18 something or other, and it was perfect. It was like it had just come off the press. Absolutely perfect. They've had coins, they've had all sorts coming through that nobody can account for.
I've never heard that word before. Apports.
Apports, yeah. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
It is a thing.
It's like dust. Now, I'm having this massive clear out in my house. It really is a massive clear out, spring clean.
Yeah.
And I've actually come across stuff. When you get into the loft, there's dust and stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
But dust carries memories.
Yeah.
And this is something that really does bother me, and it's weird. But there's a saying. I worked with a chap once who worked a long time in Africa, and he said they have a local saying out there, that when you're walking through the jungles, for every 2 pair of eyes you can see, there's 20 you can't see.
Yeah.
And it's the same when you're walking through woods. You'll get animals. You might see 2 pair of eyes that an animal's looking at you, but there's 20 of them that you can't see that are looking at you. And
I think you can get that when you sat in your own room. I've suddenly had that, like watching telly, and all of a sudden you think, you're on your own, but you kind of think somebody stood there. And there isn't anybody there, but it feels like somebody's in your space.
Yes.
So how much of that's going on that you can't feel when you're just sat around you.
Well, I've told this story I think on previous show, but so those of you who heard it, please go make a cup of tea now. But I actually worked in this. It's a fantastic place to work. It was a Grade 2 listed, as we call it, a manor house.
Yeah.
And it was in Hertfordshire. And when you first worked there, you're looking out over the fields and that, and you had to sort of tear your eyes away from the beautiful scenery to get on with your work.
Yeah.
And I was a bit stressed one day because it's just stressful when you're working in that. And it had like a corridor, and we had sort of rooms off of it, central corridor, and you worked in different offices there. And apparently, it was a children's hospital. I think it was before the First World War.
Right.
Okay. But it was very sad, and it fell into disrepair. And this architect's place actually bought it in 1971 and did it up. You see, because actually I know it was 1971 because they did a booklet about how they did it up and all that type of thing. Anyway, on with the story. That was the place that I saw the little boy ghost.
Yeah.
Remember that one where I looked around and saw a little.
Yeah. Little Victorian boy.
That's right. I was stressed out this day because we had this job that the project was doing, which they had some pretty complex designs on it, and was doing door schedules. I hate doing door schedules and window schedules. I bloody hate it, So it's one, there's always something you see, quantity surveyors and architects in this country are separate professions, but in America they don't have quantity surveyors. The architects do it.
Right.
I'm glad I'm not in America because I hate quantity survey. I detest quantity survey. Anyway, on with the joke because you don't really do much of it because it's quantity surveyors that do it. Anyway, I was doing these schedules and that. Bleeding dawn, some people love it, but I ain't got that mind for it because I like sort of arty-farty, designy stuff. Anyway, I was really stressed out. And when you get a neck ache and a backache, I was sort of like this. And at the bottom of this corridor, we had a place where you made tea and drinks and things, you see. And then a toilet in the side. Women's one side, very hygienic, isn't it? And gents the other side.
Yes, lovely.
So anyway, I went into the gents and I finished. Suddenly I felt as if there was somebody in there because it was a one-room toilet. Well, they had women and gents. I don't know because a woman could have gone into the gents anyway. Anyway, I felt something behind me, and when I came out, I was started to make the tea, and then suddenly, this is weird, I actually felt something massaging my back and my shoulders. Oh, this is bloody weird. There's nobody there. And when I went back to the office with my cup of tea, everybody I said, "Lummy, you look spaced out." And I was also like, "Hey." I said, "That's weird." And one of the girls there, always remember, she's a very nice girl. I actually spoke to her, told her about it. She said, there are sort of spirits around here because it used to be a hospital. Might have been a nurse.
Yeah.
Who knows? That sort of but it actually felt like someone massaging my back and massaging my shoulders. I mean, it sounds weird. It really does. And I'm thinking, this is bloody strange. But I was so spaced out, and I just zoomed through the bloody door schedule that afternoon like no end. I was all, because I need bloody and bleeding doors and all that. Someone always comes back, you've done the wrong swing on the door and you put the wrong ironmonger out. Sod off. I hate it. But as long as I paid the old lira, I didn't mind. But but it's really weird that.
I used to regularly get somebody stroking my hair, and for all I'd keep going like that and fiddling with my hair, and as soon as I left it alone, there'd be somebody. It felt like somebody was playing with my hair. There was I brushed it in case it was something that was catching. Or no, there's definitely somebody playing with my hair, but there was nobody there.
Do you ever get someone? I've had this. This is one part of the watchers. Whisper a word in your ear.
Oh, I've had voices before, yeah.
I tell you another one. Do you ever get, before you were going off to sleep at night, you can hear in the distance like a party. You can hear, but you can't hear what they're saying. It's sort of people. When people are laughing, giggling, and
it's like,
but you can't hear a word of what they're saying.
Yeah, I've had a conversation going on at the side of me, just at that point where you're about to drop off, and the speech is as clear as a bell, and it's a man and a woman, and I have no idea what they're saying. They're not talking in a foreign language; they're talking in English.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what they're saying. She says something to him, and he says something back to her, and then I go to sleep. That hasn't happened for a bit either, but I had that quite a bit at one point. Because the first
Also,
time it happened, my eyes flew open. I'm like, who the hell's that?
it's weird. Do you also get a word coming to your mind, or it's whispered to you? I mean, I was in my car once, and this word just went into my ear. Somebody said something in my ear, and it's a really complicated word that you'd never use, I didn't know of, and I had to look it up in the dictionary.
Yeah.
Where did it come
Yeah.
from?
I've had that before.
Something like electron-centricity or something like that. I was thinking,
Yeah.
what the bloody hell did that come from?
I can't remember the word that I got.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was now, but I had a word. I'm like, and I woke up and it was going over and over in my mind. It happened before I went to sleep, and it was going over and over in my mind when I woke up. And I thought, I need to know what that word is. And I can't remember for the life of me what it was now, but it was a word I'd never heard of before, but it meant something that I knew. But very strange how it happens.
I'll tell you another one that I did have, and something, I don't know whether I should say this or not, something said, watch out for the 11th. Watch out for the 11th.
No.
Now, November is not a lucky month.
No.
Grandmother used to say that my surname's Powys, and I'm English spelling, I-S, not Y-S. I hasten to add, I'm not Welsh. And she used to say, November is not a good time for the Powyses.
Oh.
And things have always gone tits up in November.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
Things went tits up last November. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, very weird.
And on the 2nd of November, of all the things, 2nd and 3rd November, it's starting to go tits up. Now, it's something about November. I don't know what it is. I dread the month coming through. Once I pass November, I think, oh, you know.
But then some people could turn around and say you're manifesting that because it's always been a shit month. So is it you?
In November. Remember that 3 years ago? You remember when I knocked myself out? That was in November, about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And that, it's really strange. Always November. Weird. I mean, I came off my bike. I think it was the 11th. I came off my bike in November.
Yeah.
It's really weird. But also, do you get the 11? Do you get
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day I've done it where all day long when I've looked at the clock, it's been 10:10, 11:11. I've not looked at the clock in between. Yeah. I just glanced at the clock and it's 10:10, 11:11, 12:12, 13:13.
Weird, isn't it?
Very weird. Right, we've got some comments.
Oh, good. Oh, also, I've got a comment before. Ted, thanks for the Christmas card, mate. It's very kind of you. So Ted sent you a Christmas card. So that's it. And also Therese. And I've got it. Have you noticed you're getting late Christmas cards?
I haven't had any for weeks. Well, not weeks.
What's today? Monday. I got it on the Friday. Sorry I haven't emailed you yet or anything like that. It's very rude of me. I've been really busy this weekend. So I'm very sorry. But Therese in Australia, thank you very much for your Christmas card. Belated. Many thanks. I'll be texting you for that, for thanking you. And also Ted. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much. It really is, restores your faith in human nature. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. So,
right. She's had to go now, but Deb Hatswell put, I once lost my glasses on an investigation in Delamere Forest. I can't see without them. I travelled home blind and my glasses were on the side of my unit. Now, I know she wears glasses all the time, so that was odd.
That is weird.
Lavender Moon Crystals, welcome. I've had my bedroom door closed and doorstop moved without me hearing anything during the night. Creepy. Cool. Stig in New Zealand saying, I swear I heard and saw my dad, which he's told me about, and it sounds like it to me. Joe saying, I have a video of my old dog interacting with something or someone. Then we've got Louise Tom saying, I get lots of closed eye visions of past animals and have brought past pets of people. Louise, the other Louise, we've got two. He's saying, we moved into a house where an old man died. Our daughter complained about Harold poking her. She couldn't say where she got the name from, but needless to say, it was the old man's name. Ooh.
Ooh.
And referring to your story about being massaged,
Mm-hmm.
Dark Angel's asking, what do you think it was, Chris? Spirit, demon, stalker, lol. Yeah, you could have been stalked.
Oh, I hope it was a lady that I fancied me.
A bit weird, though.
Trouble is, it was a very decent massage. That visual was sort of boring. It was always just around the shoulders. I should have gone, perhaps I should go back there. Right, the massage, it's just around my shoulders. I actually felt the fingers sort of like, it was really
Digging in.
coming back. And I thought I was saying lower, but no, it just kept. Remember, this was probably an Edwardian or Victorian lady. She's very decent, you know.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Covered down to the tops of the feet.
Yes. Nothing. Nothing.
Louise is saying as well, she kept getting dead before 40 over and over when I was at rest. I was worried it was me. A few weeks later, my ex-partner passed age 39.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'll tell
a
you
bit
a very
shocking.
weird one. Is that many years ago, when I was very young, my sister and her future husband used to drive down to the south of France, flash gits, and and
I was going to say Côte d'Azur, isn't it?
South of France, and there was a favourite auntie, which was my mother's sister, had died. See, was it Flo or something? I can't remember what her name was. I was quite young. Anyway, because my sister's much older than me. Anyway, on with the story. And in those days, you didn't have the internet or anything like that, so there's no way my sister could have known. And my sister came in from the holiday, and sort of like you do. And my mum said, "Well, look, I've got something to tell you." And she says, "Let's say it's Auntie Flo." I don't think it was. I can't remember who it was. And she just took the words out of my mother's mouth. She said, "Yes, Auntie Flo's died." She said, "How do you know?" She said, "I've been thinking about all the holiday."
Right.
All holiday I've been thinking Auntie Flo on my mind.
Yeah.
It's really creepy. But, I mean, have you ever been to, not necessarily a seance, but I think you have, haven't you, Deb, where they... Yeah, of course you have, yes. I went to one for the first time the other week.
Yeah.
And... It's weird, isn't it?
It is to people that aren't used to it.
Yeah, because they're sort of there's a few bits and bobs. This medium, because there's a whole audience there. You're sitting there, and he's saying, "Oh, hang on there." And there was a few that I think were a bit iffy. I mean, he was a right comedian. This bloke. He said, "I bought my wife a plot of ground." He said, "A cemetery." Anyway. So, anyway, he sort of said to this woman who was in her 80s or 90s, "You used to do the twist, didn't you?" Well, she would have done.
Yeah.
I can see this boyfriend, and he went to the other woman. "You got a lot of shoes, haven't you?" Well, yeah, a lot of women got lots of shoes.
In my wardrobe, I've got a boatload.
Yeah, and it's sort of, but there were some things that are quite interesting. Specific.
Yeah.
And I mean, he didn't pick on me. I was sitting there. I mean, I haven't really been. Well, I lost. It's very sad. I lost Boris the spider. That was a spider that was behind my wing mirror in my car. And
yeah.
I'm
blew him off, basically. You went too fast and you blew him off.
That's right. And it's just. Oh, by the way, do you like the fake jokes? See, it's brought it up.
No, I'm sorry. You can't do a fake laugh for the loss of Boris. Fake cry.
But anyway, I was sitting there and I didn't get a can because I said no, I didn't want a can because I've got nobody. I wasn't really grieving as such. I was just interested. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
But
it is fascinating.
I just wondered, could he be reading people's minds in many ways?
It could do. I mean, a lot of them can cold read. You can tell the genuine ones when they're giving specific details. I mean, a lot of them can just say, "I'm getting the letter B." Well, that could be anything. And then if somebody goes, "That'll be me. I had an Auntie Barbara,"
Mhm.
they can work on that. And I don't know how they do it, because I don't think I'd be able to do it, but
No.
they can cold read somebody.
Yeah, that is
I mean,
possible.
you can go by their age. I mean, if they're in the 70s or whatever, then they're going to have lived through something
Mm.
dramatic from like years ago, and they can just work on that. And it seems like you've got a message, but you've not. But I
Yeah.
did go when Colin Fry was alive. I went to see him at
Mm.
York Theatre, and he came out and he went straight to this woman in the middle and he said, "Your son's here." Now this woman looked about 40 at the time,
Mm.
because York Theatre curves round, so she was sat in the middle and we were sat on the end bit and we could see her. So he said, "Your son's here," and she went like this, and I'm thinking, bloody hell, she's a bit young to lose a son. And he described exactly how her son had died. It had been some sort of fight that had got out of hand, and somebody pulled a gun and shot him. He even pointed to where he'd been shot, and he gave her loads of details, and she just sat crying. She just sat there with her mouth open. She couldn't believe details that nobody else knew but her. And he was bang on. And he was bang on with whoever he went to in the audience. And I mean, it was packed, but it was absolutely, there was something
He's
there.
genuine.
Yeah.
Well, there used to be a bloke. Was it on LBC or some of those one of those radio stations years ago? And people would phone in, and he'd say, "Oh, hello. Oh, you're sitting next to a window, aren't you? And you've got some blue curtains up there, and you've got a fire behind you. How do you know that?" And he
Yeah.
would just that is an art. That is not quite mediumship, though, is it? That's something else, isn't it? That is oh,
Clairvoyance.
clairvoyance sort of.
Oh, that's mediumship. It's all the
Yeah,
same kind. It comes under the same thing.
that is because the Americans looked at this, and I don't know whether the Russians did. They probably did in the Cold War,
Yeah.
where they could, where is it? Where they use these people that could think. What's it called?
Remote viewing.
Remote viewing. Yeah,
Yeah. You see,
and this.
I see that as quite along those lines as well.
Yes,
I
but
have a book about that I keep meaning to start reading. I might do that this 3 weeks that I'm on my own.
well,
Get into
really, the creepy thing is, I went to Shaw's Corner because I have
Yeah.
really a bit empathic. You pick up on things and people quickly, and that's the trouble. People find it a bit creepy. Do you find that, Deb, when you
Yeah.
can pick up on people really
Yeah.
quick? And I went to Shaw's Corner. I've never felt so uncomfortable there.
Yeah, I remember you saying about that.
It turns out he wasn't such a nice bloke after all.
No.
So it's something very, very weird. And the other one was the Dominion Tottenham Court Road. That was
Yeah.
behind there was a torture chamber during World War II. But
Right.
I knew there was something evil there. So I
Yeah.
used to walk down Tottenham Court Road, cross the road to avoid passing the Dominion Tottenham Court Road. There was something odd about that little area.
Yeah.
And it's only recently I found out that it was where the British tortured German prisoners of war.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. So I felt that evil, that nastiness sort of coming out there.
I kind of pick up on places like that.
Yeah.
There was, when I was about 7-ish, we went on holiday to Wales, and it was a lodge at the end of a farm track.
Oh.
So we used to go up to the farm for like eggs and milk and stuff. And this lodge was, God, 1920s maybe. I'm not really good at dating buildings. But there was a room. There was the main living room, and then there was what you would call like an ante room.
Yeah.
In between that and then the kitchen and then the bathroom all downstairs. But this room that you went through to get to the kitchen, it only had a fireplace, a chair and a table in it. Even our dog didn't like it. Our dog used to growl if he had to go through it. I didn't like it. My mum didn't like it. My dad never picked up on anything like that. But me and my mum could not wait to get through there. If I had to go to the toilet, I'd have to get either my mum or my dad to go through with me. And my dad once left me. He thought, oh, she'll be all right now, she's in toilet. No, I had to come back through that room on my own, and I was screaming. I hated it. Don't know what it was. I must have been picking up on something, and my mum must. No idea what it was. But there was some dark, horrible presence in that room.
Hmm.
Or it had been used for something horrible, or was just so bare. But didn't like it.
Parts of London, it's very strange. You see, I've got this phobia about London. It sounds a bit weird. My cousin has as well. It seems to run through the family.
Yeah.
And my cousin, he used to, he had a printing business, and he would do everything to avoid London. He gave him manic depression. And I'm exactly the same. I just do. I worked there for years and I tolerated it during the weekdays. But quite honestly, I never liked London. I hated the place. There's something, especially, you go, the city's not bad, but there's something demonic about it. And also the West End, there's something, I just don't know what it is. And my parents used to take me there when I was a kid. And I get really depressed for about 3 days afterwards. And somebody told me it's because of all the, if you're a little bit more empathic, you pick up on all the vibrations from the people. And you sort of like, although when I worked there, I sort of suppose got used to it, folding stuff. But but quite honestly, it's really, it is a very weird. Some places do give out very negative energies.
Yeah,
energies.
It is quite a populated place, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's kind of
populated places.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing. But also, you find that I often, on Wednesdays, I often go over and see Miles. We have lunch, shop. That's the sort of health shop I like. That's the sort of doctor I like. By the way, he's on this Thursday.
Yes.
So tune in, folks. It's going to be a good one because he's going to tell you about diets where you lose pounds. No, not pounds around your waist, pounds from your purse and wallet.
The
pocket. And he is a qualified, nutritionist, I believe, highly qualified in it. So he knows how you can lose weight. So it's not to be missed.
Yes, so get tuning in.
Yes, so tune in. There's someone called Deb on there as well. I don't know. You heard of her?
Would that be me?
It might be. Yes. Well, you can't do that, can you? And it's going to be good. And the sad news is because his Chromebook's died.
We're back to his iPad.
Shit. What is it about computers? The John Hamer's computer got up the spout. Has his computer got up the spout?
No,
my iPad went up the spout this morning.
Touch wood, mine's not going up the spout.
Does anybody know what that problem is, though? That battery drained overnight, and now it's taken a month of Sundays to charge.
Yeah,
it needs to go to the great Apple cloud in the sky,
possibly, or at least wang down to the bottom of the garden.
Yes, or into the compost bin. Yeah. But I find it actually does work when you go bloody thing. It helps you because you get. And it's a bit like Basil Fawlty this morning. I've warned you. I've done it.
Branch
back. But I gently tapping it a few times seems to bring it to life.
Well, it wouldn't work on my Kindle the other night. I hadn't read my Kindle in bed for a couple of nights, and I picked it up like the third night and switched it on. And when I last left it, there was 65% on it, and it had just gone vroom, down to nothing. But friendly neighbourhood light switching off ghost.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But, so your Kindle did similar. I had about 54% last night on my iPad, and when I got this morning, it was dead as a dodo.
Every Kindle that I've had, the battery has not lasted a year before it started like running out quick. And I love Kindles. I love my Kindle, but batteries are crap. I need to really sort that out.
Well, I had a Samsung, and the battery's crap on that smartphone. I've got an Nokia. So far, so good. I've had it for 18 months, I think. It's Nokia. People say, Nokia? That's an old-fashioned. No, it's an old-fashioned name, but they're bloody good. I'll tell you that. They're really.
I'm a Samsung girl. I noticed earlier on we were on about phones in the chat. There's a lot of Samsungs.
I might go for a Samsung. What do you call it? Equivalent to an iPad. Yeah. Because the thing is, you don't want to put your main computer on in the morning, and people will now know when I'm eating my porridge because they're seeing the stuff coming up on Facebook.
I just do it on my phone.
By the way, we've got a bloody big membership now in Fockham Hall, haven't we?
Yes, we have. It's brilliant.
130 something.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Excellent.
Yes. And by the way, have you had a lot of people from Argentina want to be your friend?
No, not that I've noticed.
I was sitting down the other morning.
Maybe
eating
that's
pie.
just you.
Well, no, it's not that. My phone was going bing, 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 bing. I thought, what the bloody hell? There's about 20 people from Argentina want to be my friend. But I thought,
Strange.
yes. So I went bing, 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 bing. Piss
Really?
off, piss off, piss off, piss off. No, actually, they are scammers, I think. I think they're Nigerian scammers.
Yeah, there will be.
Yes, yes. But anyway, anything more in chat? Because this is fascinating, this subject, isn't it? The watchers.
It is. Let's be seeing. No, they're all talking about phones now.
So, can anybody tell me what's wrong with our factory?
What's this battery business about?
Yeah, and what was your one now? Kindle? What a bleeding battery,
my Amazon Kindle.
Yes. And somebody said, a lot of people are depressed around Christmas. Well, I always get depressed around Christmas because I don't like Christmas. But, W.C. Fields, anyone that hates kids, dogs and Christmas can't be all bad.
Yeah.
But the fact is that with Christmas, loads of people were depressed. And some people said it was Mars in retrograde. But I'm wondering whether it was the that was testing out and switching, because that would have been a perfect time to test it out, wouldn't it?
Possibly.
The number we can't mention. Anyway, do you think it's time for the guru to come on?
Yes.
Yes,
I think I've got it.
Now, it came on the other week, and I haven't done a fresh one, but Deb hasn't seen it, so a few other people haven't seen it. So here it comes. Hang on, we've got to put our hands together. And you see it. Here it comes, the fake guru. Hello, I was on a train with my friend and I was writing an article. And we got into an argument. I said the word is womb, which is WOMMBE. He said no, the word is vroom, which is VOMB. And we carried on like this for some time. And a gentleman sitting opposite said, "Excuse me, dear people, but I am an eminent gynecologist, and I assure you the word is womb, which is WOMB. To which I replied, "My dear sir, with all due respects, you've never heard an elephant breaking wind." There we go. It's a terrible one, isn't it? That was on the other way.
Yeah, anyway, I think I have to go now.
Oh, well, I've all got the dingly dingly doodly sounds, haven't we?
No, what's all that about?
I keep going diddly dong, But yes. Anyway, should we go back to chat and then we get on a bit more with the watchers?
Yes. No, we're still all on about phones and dinosaurs. We've back to dinosaurs.
I think they're on a parallel universe.
Yes.
Yes.
They're watching somewhere else.
Are you with us? Are you on Watchers? No, you're on Dinosaurs. They're probably watching John Amy's
Jurassic
show.
Park.
Jurassic Park.
Anyway, I'll tell you another ghost story, seeing as we're supposed to be doing ghosty stuff.
Righto.
When I worked at a nursing home, I hadn't left school, it was after that. In my late 20s, I worked in a nursing home and I did about 6 months of nights. And we had a big old building, was the main building, and then 3 corridors that were built extra, like an extension that ran down. So the main building was, that'll have been an old, like a mansion house type thing. And when you sat in the dining room where we used to sit and you looked down, you could see down the middle corridor right to the end. So obviously on a night we did rounds, and one of the people that I worked with always did her rounds. She wanted to do them on her own. So I hated that. I like going round in pairs just in case anybody needed any assistance. There was both of you there. But anyway, so I was sat writing my notes up, and I looked down the corridor and I saw her going down the corridor. And I thought, why is she not go? Because you used to go into each room and just shine the torch enough, not to blind them, but to see whether they were all right. And she just carried on straight down the corridor to the door at the bottom. And as I'm watching like this, she came in through the kitchen door opposite me. Now, none of our residents were mobile, not that quick. On that floor, there was nobody that would have walked that quick. And there was only us in the building. It was all locked up. So who that was, I have no idea. But it was my round the next time, and I shot down that corridor in and out of everybody's rooms. And but the bottom floor on that building faced the churchyard, and all the stone from the wall, the retaining wall, had fallen away. And every night as soon as I got there for my night shift, I shot downstairs, and because we had like patio door didn't lead anywhere, but we had patio doors, and I made sure all the doors were locked and the curtains were shut, because all you could see was like the soil of the graveyard. It used to freak me out. I got so depressed on nights, I hated it. And most of it was because the building creeped me out. Horrible.
I tell you what is a very creepy place. I don't live far from Epping Forest. And Epping Forest is... Why do we keep getting this funny noise?
No, it's you, not me.
It's me, it's not you. Yeah. I think it's my bloody... Hang on a minute. Hang on, let's press a few. That's it. Right, that might do it. It's a plug switch. It wasn't fully in. Oops. No, but actually, Epping Forest... Yeah, it is me. Sorry.
You let you off.
Epping Forest is very, very weird. A very creepy place. And there's a story that goes back a long way. I do not know whether it's true or not. I really don't. I've heard this from several different people. You may have heard it, Deb. I think it's a bit like a shaggy dog story. It starts off with a core of truth, and suddenly, as it, the Chinese whispers, where it carries on.
Yeah, it gets elaborated.
That's right. I think it's been elaborated, but I will tell you the way I heard it, and you can work out for yourself whether it's elaborated or not. And apparently, it was a girl and boyfriend in the 60s. They went into the forest in their car, and they was having a bit of a snog, and like you do, and he got out for a wee, I think, and suddenly he was gone for quite a time. Headlights came into the car park where they were, and it was the police, and she could hear this bash, 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 bash. It's knocking on the roof of the car, and the police were loud howl. They said, "Madam, get out of your car and walk towards us, but do not look round."
Yeah.
And she got out the car, do exactly as we say, and she looked round, and it was a loony that had cut the head of her boyfriend off, and he was bashing it on the roof of the car.
I think that's an urban myth.
I think it's an urban myth.
Because I've heard that from different places all around the world, that kind of story.
Yeah, it sounds like an urban myth, but that's the way I think it. But let's face it, if a loony is standing there going like this, wouldn't he be blinded by the headlights?
Well, yeah. Plus the fact I don't think the police are going to kind of like get you to get out of the car while he's bashing her boyfriend's head on top of it. I think
they would have gone round, wouldn't they? The pincer move.
Apprehend him first.
Yeah.
But I think that's I do think that's an urban myth.
It does sound like that. But it was Epping Forest, the one I heard it from.
Yeah. So probably one for every area. There's probably something around here that's exactly the same.
Yes. But it is when you think about it though, sometimes if you are more aware of things, like for example, I've been walking through woods and you tread on a twig and it's behind you as it looks back again, you think, bloody hell, someone's behind me.
Yeah.
But the weirdest one was last year, I think it was last summer, I cycled through Lee Valley, and you can go for miles, well, a long time without seeing anybody there. You've got woods either side. Yeah. And it was after Deborah Hatsford had told me about Bigfoot, you see.
Right.
It was a lovely day, you see. And I was cycling along, and it's like a sort of push bike motorway, this is. You got a sort of dead straight track. Yeah. You get the old speed up, but there was a few potholes there. And I was thinking, God, this is sort of nice. And then I started thinking about Bigfoot. And I thought, haven't seen anybody for a long time. And about 10 minutes went past, I hadn't seen a soul. 15 minutes went past, I hadn't seen a soul. I was thinking,
Yes.
it
Yeah,
is
but
a
that kind of like gets you a bit on edge then, doesn't it? Because you start thinking about the vastness of the place that you're in and the fact that you're on your own. And I do that sometimes when I'm driving. I kind of think, oh, I haven't seen another car for a bit, and I'm kind of in the middle of nowhere. And it did happen this morning. Well, this lunchtime, on my way back home from dropping my husband off.
Yeah.
And I came, there's two routes I could have gone. One of the routes is like through little villages and things, and the other route is basically in the middle of nowhere. And I thought, oh, nice drive. I'll go see what's happening with the reservoir, because that was down to a puddle. It's a vast reservoir,
Really?
and it goes over two sides of the road. But when we had the drought, it was a little puddle like that. So
Blimey.
I'll go see what's happening there. So I went that way, and I'm driving along and thinking, I haven't seen many cars. There's loads of forests, there's loads of fields, there's everything but houses. But yeah, but anyway, the reservoir was full both sides, which was nice to see.
We had a lot of rain. Well,
Yeah.
did I ever tell you that when I was driving back near, where was it now? Nebworth.
Ah, yeah.
In Hertfordshire, with the two night type things. I was driving along, and it was a full moon night, and I saw what I looked like two figures with sort of with bald heads.
Right.
Oh my God! Looked like two giants. I thought it was from a UFO or something. I thought right. And as the road is zigzag like this, and there's woods inside, I thought, oh, shit. I was getting a bit concerned because as the headlights are going around and the light, there's trees either side, and it was a little bit, it wasn't windy, but I could see in my mind like two faces. And excuse my language, I'm shitting a brick. And what it was the entrance to a manor house. And they're great high with balls on the top.
With balls on the top, yeah.
And as the branches were blowing in the winds, the moonlight was, and they're very, very old, was my imagination was taking over, and I was seeing faces and things moving. And I could see two like knights there like this. And it wasn't, it was just two columns with balls on the top. But it's surprising how your imagination.
It's weird how your brain works, yeah.
Yeah, and and if I'd have stopped there, I could have sworn I saw two figures, I really saw. But there is. I was talking to Miles the other day, and no, was it Miles or somebody else? I can't remember. About a chap that flies kites, right. And he has these fantastic kites that go up high. He's a real expert at it. And he goes to remote places, and then he listens to the local radio show, and people say, "I saw a UFO last night." And
it's him and his kite.
Every time he does it for a laugh. Like, oh yes, it's like a stairway to heaven because he's big line going up, and there's this great ball of light. I have to do that. I'm getting into I really, excuse my language. I think they'll take the piss and do that. I really. But because I did tell you, did I ever tell you about that? I didn't know about that chap I worked with, who was in the army about the time of the his old boy was about the time of the Warminster thing.
Oh yeah,
60s, and I'll be very quick about it. He had a fantastic plum job he did in the army. What he did was they would get a specification of something to be made, and these fellows had to make it. It could be, I don't know, exploding elephant done or anything, and they were told to go and get the best radio controlled aircraft they could wish to find. He went to Beatty's with a sort of empty check, open check. And what do you want, sir? Because Beatty's is the place in Holborn that we used to buy all the model aircraft. And that.
There used to be a Beatty's in Leeds, but I think it's long closed down now.
Well,
it was the model shop on it for remote control stuff.
When I was a kid, I mean that was like a church. That was Beatty's. Yeah. You go to Beatty's, bloody Nora, But you in your but they'd have to tear you away from the place. I
I
love
know.
Windsor.
Love
But
that place.
anyway, this was in the 60s, remember? He was telling
Mm?
me this. And he said in the 60s, radio control was extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And he went in there. Yeah. This one's showing, I don't know, £100 or whatever. No, I want the best you've got. This is the, they got the best. They got two of them, I believe, and that to suit them up in a certain way. And they had luminous stripes put on the wings and things like that. And they went away, and they, whoever used them, smashed them up, didn't know how to use them. So they got the fellas who suit them up to go to Warminster, all paid for by the Ministry of Defence, and to fly them over the town at the early hours of the morning.
Right.
And he reckons it was to monitor, because there was a Warminster thing that was taking roof tiles off of houses, apparently, and all kinds of things like that.
Yeah, there were all sorts going on.
It was to monitor, the Ministry of Defence were monitoring people's reaction. So what that was about, he didn't know. I don't, nobody knows. But he said there they were flying these aircraft low with luminous stickers on them and streamers over the town. They had to suit them up so they could go, I don't know, 2 or 3 times the distance. And, it's really, what a lovely job though, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that.
Specification, you want an exploding, I'm going to make this out, like exploding pen or something, or
Yeah.
weird, isn't it? But,
Yeah, slightly.
Yeah, but no, he did. It was 9 till 5. He was in the army, but it was 9 till 5. But he was near on retirement then. So mind you, was he on near on time? No, I mean he's getting on a bit. He couldn't have been retired when I spoke to him.
I have a bit of a funny tale about Warminster.
Yes.
My husband years ago was going to Bosnia for 6 months, and they sent him to Warminster. And he rang me and he said that he could come home for the night. I mean, bearing in mind, I'm in Leeds. He was down in Warminster. So he could come home for the night. So anyway, I said, right, okay, I'll come and pick you up. We had a big Daihatsu Rocky 75, massive, great big thing. So I sets off down the motorway, and I'm going quite fast. And I saw all the traffic backing up, and I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? And there was this, I don't even know what it was they were moving, but when they have a wide load and the abnormal load cars behind it, there were about four of these abnormal load cars surrounding it. And it had left like the outside lane for you to get past. And this thing was huge. Whatever it was they were transporting, it made all the air stand up. And I'm like, I couldn't wait to get past it. Anyway, got past, kept going, and I was about 12 miles away from where the camp at Warminster. And there was this massive crash and a bang. And when I looked out of my wing mirror, the exhaust was travelling at the side of me on the road. It had come off and swung out. And it was like, and I'm like, oh shit. Anyway, pulled onto the hard shoulder right next to the emergency phone. Got out of the car because obviously I'd had my boot down, so I'd left everybody behind. So I got out, I got the gardening gloves out the back of the thing and picked the exhaust up and just put it down to cool. And rung the AA or whatever. And they said they were sending somebody out. Anyway, did the usual, don't sit in the car, sit on the fence thing, and we'll keep ringing you back. Because this was days before mobile phones. Anyway, I'm sat there and I thought, I haven't seen a car go past for about 15 minutes. Oh no, you know why that is, don't you? Because this bloody thing was heading towards me and I had no escape. I couldn't drive away, and I was sat at the side of the car as it went past. I'm like, it was horrible. But that was on the way to Warminster. But Warminster is a very funny place, I found.
It is weird, isn't it?
It's a bit weird. And that was before I knew about this Warminster thing and whatever else was going on. UFO, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Those crosses in the sky that people saw.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to work out this bloke. It's in the 80s. It must have been in his 30s, I suppose.
Right.
Doing that. I mean, when you're younger, everybody looks old. I think I spoke to him in the 80s or 90s, so, but the thing is that have you ever lost time? That's another weird one.
Not that I can remember. No, not that I can
Well,
think
I I had a girlfriend once. Well, I say girlfriend. Let's put it this way: we had to part due to health reasons. Her husband would have killed me. So, but no, seriously. She married the wrong one, and
of. Right.
long story. We won't go into it. Anyway, I didn't break up any marriages or anything like that. We did everything very, very respectful and that. But anyway, what I was going to say, we were sitting in the car once, and this was a nice, warm, sort of like sunny afternoon, and we're just sitting looking out over a view, and it was about 3:30 in the afternoon. And the next thing, it's 6 o'clock, and we both could not account for those hours that are missing.
Right.
Now that is very weird. We're sitting there, just looking out over the view, and the next thing, sort of as if we regained consciousness. Okay, yeah.
But do you think
Hang
you
on,
were both so relaxed you nodded off?
that's what I think,
Mm.
because we were very much in love, basically, and I think we were so relaxed with each other. We
Yeah.
just sort of we used to think the same,
Yeah.
and we're just sitting there, and it must have been 3, 4 o'clock because we used to leave work separately
Yeah.
and worked in the country. We worked in this sort of lovely converted offices.
Yeah.
Nobody suspected anything, and and it was about 6 o'clock. We'd lost about 3 hours, and we
Mm.
just could not account for it. It was most weird, that's the only thing I can think of. We both nodded off that we both so relaxed with each other, but she couldn't account for it. I couldn't account for it, and
I
there's no
think that's
UFOs or anything. That is
I think
really,
that's what it was. You were so tuned in with each other and so relaxed
yeah.
that that's what it was. I
It might
think.
have been, but it was really weird. Both of us sort of, huh? What's the time?
Yeah.
What? But and we just could not account for this because it was like we was there sort of 3 o'clock ish, and then suddenly it's 6 o'clock, and
Yeah. That's just weird, isn't it?
it's weird. Yeah.
But no, I've never had that kind of time loss.
Now, Lavender Moon said something interesting here. She said, horrible things happened in London hundreds of years ago,
Yeah.
burning witches and that.
Yeah.
I know Smithfield around near there because Mark Windows has done a film on it, the
Right.
Heretics of Smithfield. That was a meat market, was it? Yes, yes, and that's very interesting, and very brave people as well. They because they had an option apparently
Right.
to do with religion. He knows a lot more about it, but you can actually see it on YouTube, The Heretics of Smithfield. Very interesting. Smithfield is a very, very weird place, a very strange place. But Dark Angels come up with an interesting one. It says, when are you going to have a paleontologist on to talk about dinosaurs, Chris?
Will you shut up about dinosaurs?
Have you found out about dinosaurs? Well, there's a funny story because Richard D. Hall did a show. And you know this Mars lander shit, in my language, because I don't believe anybody landed on the moon, and I don't believe they're anywhere near Mars, because I think these photos from Mars are from Devon Island on Earth.
Right.
And Richard D. Hall did a full exposure of it. He said if you change the colours and that, it looks like Mars. And what it was is, strange enough, he lived near me, this fella. There's a paleontologist. Noticed fossils on the Mars in Mars that were very same, almost like they are identical to what's on Earth. Well, slap my thigh, isn't that amazing? On Mars. And initially this fella thought it was on Mars, but then he realised it's all fake photography. Because
Right.
there's a frame, isn't there, of a lemming. I don't think they've got lemmings on Mars.
Well,
They have on Devon Island though, isn't that strange?
yeah. Very, very strange.
Very odd.
Hang on, Ancient Ruby, before we go off that subject. Ancient Ruby wants to know, how did you feel after, Chris, after your missing time kind of thing?
Very relaxed. Mind you, I was always relaxed with her. She was always relaxed with me. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's weird, isn't it?
Sorry, just
hang on. Richard
Right,
D.
sorry.
Hall, richplanet.net.
I tapped on the wrong one there.
That's okay. Richplanet.net is the one, and the authorities are going to him. Dinosaurs exist. How else do you explain the movies?
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, yes. It is the shit of the bull. Bullshit.
I did love Jurassic Park, though.
Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? With Dickie Attenborough. Lovey dearie.
Oh, dear Dickie.
Oh,
We do
Dickie.
love a bit of dear Dickie.
Which brings us on to next week's show.
Yes.
Because as well as, this is, you're going to have therapy after this to have us two on 2 times in the week. We've got, obviously, Miles.
Yes.
He's on, Dr. Miles Fleetwood, talking very importantly about diets. Well, not so much diets. He's, what is it now? I made a note here.
What not to take as a supplement, I'm presuming, or as a diet?
Well, he's actually. I made notes which I've lost.
Yeah. In that big pile of paper.
They're bleeding here somewhere. I'll probably find it after the show. But anyway, hang on. No, I should actually go to Thursday. That's where I find the notes. Yes. Get Your Bio Right is the name of the show. Get Your Bio. Right. I want to rename it. I think it's a bit lengthy. I want to do a different title. But anyway. And remember, it's not every day that people will be able to see Miles' crappy iPod in action. So there we go. So you'll see Miles with a touch of John Hamerism there. So
yes.
But what was you saying? Hang on, I lost. Oh yes. So Miles is on Thursday, and then on next Monday, we've got a bit of Dickie down below.
Yes.
Bloody hell's that about? Well, it'll tune in to find out, wouldn't you? And we've got a
bit Dickie down below.
Guest. That's right. And we've got a mystery guest, and it's nothing to do about medical stuff or anything like that. No, that's a little clue, you see. So, and it's nothing to do with what Dr. Miles Fleetwood's going to be speaking about.
No.
So that's the show, you see. And then after next Monday, we're hoping to get a numerologist on. Monday afterwards, talk about numerology, numerology, and your numbers and things, and how numbers rule your life. And that should be a very interesting show. So there we go. Now, is there anything? We've got a hell of a lot in chat tonight. Are they still on about bloody dinosaurs?
Yeah, they're on about dinosaurs. Stig's trying to talk about watches, but I'm ignoring him. About dinosaurs and mobile phones, and like Mike said a minute ago, which I answered.
Yes.
You were on about next week's show. And he said you haven't talked about this week's show yet.
No, we haven't. We've got to go on about watches. Right. Now, with watches, the other thing about things, have you ever seen ghost animals?
Yes, plenty of.
So far away. And also, do you think that we have our relatives in a parallel universe, our dead, long gone relatives, watching over us? A guardian angel. Do you think we do have guardian angels?
I think somebody watches over us, from somebody that knows us, what has known us, watches over us.
Yes.
Definitely. But I see ghosty animals on a night when I'm sat on. This sounds a bit crude, I know, but we don't shut the bathroom door. It's because it's only a small bathroom, and it kind of like the door doesn't quite shut properly, so it's always propped open. And I go up to bed, stupid o'clock in the morning, and I don't put any lights on, and I sit on the loo, and I can see the landing, obviously, and I can see shadows of. I've had cats run into the bathroom, and I know that Bob's down here asleep, and these cats are either black or white, or I've seen something slightly bigger than a cat, but I'm not sure what it was. I kind of averted my eyes because I wasn't really. It was more human-sized than cat, but crouched down, which didn't really thrill me. But yeah, I've seen one dog spirit, and I don't have a dog, so I know it's definitely a spirit. But yeah.
There was a famous story about during the Blitz during World War II, and there was the East End. I mean, a lot of the East End got wiped out, but It's very, very old. I mean, a lot of the houses have been there from the Victorian times and before that. And there was firemen. There was the buildings were being bombed and that. They
Yeah.
had to put all the fires out and that. And there's one particular house where a chap went into, and there's a staircase going up there, and there's a cat spitting like this at him
Right.
with fiery eyes, and it pounced at him and then disappeared.
Right.
And he thought, this is bloody weird, this is. And he was quite shocked by it. And he thought, well, shall I tell my colleagues or not? And he looked so shocked, they asked him. So he sort of mumbled. And then somebody said, yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yes. And apparently there was an Aleister Crowley type character that lived in that house before the war.
Right.
That used to do witchcraft and
Black
stuff
magic.
and black magic. And they reckoned that that cat was the result of his black magic.
Yeah. That's a bit scary.
That is really, really spooky. But I've also found some very, very strange things. For example, when I'm working or thinking of something, do you ever get the feeling that there is definitely someone there behind you? There is without a doubt there's somebody looking over you.
Yeah.
And also someone going onto your ear. I've had that.
No, I don't get that. I just get the feeling that somebody's in my space at the back of me.
That is creepy. Also, when you wear glasses, I mean, I only wear these glasses on the computer. I generally don't wear glasses. I wear them in my car.
I do for distance, but not reading.
Yeah, well, I'm the other way around. And what gets me is that sometimes you see, I don't know if it's reflections or things sort of on the side. And the other thing that a lot of people have said is they've seen a bird land on the bird table and then disappear. Just go.
I've heard that before.
Hmm.
I've seen cars that haven't been there. I've done that on several occasions. I've pulled up. There's a particular roundabout, and I don't know if it's something to do with that roundabout, but there's a roundabout coming on the outskirts of Bradford, and I came up to it. I'd been down to the farm shop, and I came up to it, and I was waiting for a brown car. Now, you don't see that many brown cars, and it never dawned on me at the time. But I was watching a brown car because there was nothing coming from their side, and they were coming towards me from the right. And I glanced away, and when I glanced back, there was nothing there. And I was like, but it hadn't even passed me. It had come onto the roundabout to go in front of me. And I glanced away for a second, and when I glanced back, it wasn't there.
Well, there's a famous place in Wales, and a friend of mine, she saw this, and she told me this many years ago. I think it's between North and South Wales, and she was driving along around this sort of, it's not quite mountainous there, but she was sort of zigzag road, and she saw three cars. It was, if you're in a narrow road, you've always got to look for pull-off points if it's only one
passing points.
Passing points. So she was driving along, and she could see ahead. It was three cars from the 1950s. There was A30, I think it was. I can't remember the other two. She said, I think Austin Cambridge, Morris Thousand, and she could see them, sort of three of them, all driving along rather fast. And she thought, well, perhaps there was a sort of an event nearby where they've got the old classic cars and things like that. So anyway, she's coming along, and then they sort of disappear, which they would do if you were going on a twisty road. She got over. No cars. She drove on a bit further, and there's no pull-off points, no road junctions, nothing. This is a bit weird. Well, she went round that spot again because I think she worked round there, and she saw it again. These three cars pulled over, nothing passed, and it really freaked her out until she found out there was a road accident there in the 1950s.
Yeah,
that's what she was seeing.
Yeah,
yes. But you see, the thing is that going on further with watchers, some people believe there are beings from UFOs and things like that that are watching us. And I think you had a lady on, didn't you, on one of your shows that was talking about this, where there are advanced intelligences that are kind of looking at the way we would look on, say, ants or an ant's nest, or look at
like we're a little project.
Yes, yes.
And seeing how we're running things and how we're coping with things, which is not very well, really, is it?
But do you think synchronicity is to do with energy, or is a higher beings that are directing our lives? That's something I don't understand.
I've never really given that question much thought, really.
Well, when you think about it with synchronicity, I mean, if you're trying to avoid somebody, you'll bump into them.
Yeah.
You try and avoid them, you'll bump into them. I can almost guarantee it. You'll see them.
Yeah.
You know, someone you don't want to see, you'll see. But someone you do want to see, no, you won't see them.
Yeah, exactly. Mind you, we've both done that thing where you think about somebody and then they suddenly ring you.
Yes. Yes. And
out of the blue.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this strange, because like attracts like. And we're going to do an experiment when our mystery guest next week, Michelle from Bolton, we're going to do this experiment with water. And I'm going to have 3 glasses of water. I was going to start it off tonight, but we can do it. And I'm going to love 1 glass of water. Just sort of ignore the middle glass of water and hate the 3rd glass of water. And we'll see what happens in a week. Because apparently it's a very interesting experiment. And you can also do it with rice as well.
Michelle does it with the rice, doesn't she?
That's right. Now, this is what we're going to do and see what happens. And I can leave them here. This is south facing. I don't know whether the water will go stagnant in a week. I don't know.
I don't. How right? I'll make some sense in a minute. Right. So you've got your 3 glasses of water in front of you. Mm-hmm. How do you direct what you're doing to each? If you just say
one corner of the room.
Oh, right, okay.
Room, and the other one in the middle.
In a line for some reason.
So I will look at the one in the left-hand corner, and I'll love it. I'll really love that water. And then the one in the middle, hang on, has to be with rice to cause a reaction. I didn't know that. So we'll see how it goes. Is that all right, Michelle? We'll do that next week. But I'm wondering, is it possible to have like a sealed top? Because I've got some. Hang on. Speak into each glass individually. I was going to kiss one of them and then hate the other one.
Well, I hope nobody's watching you.
Yeah, a bit weird. It kisses glasses.
I love you.
Oh, hello. Yes, a very strange man. No, but I think it'll be an interesting experiment to see what happens, and then the week after, we'll look at those glasses and see what's happened to them. Yeah. In fact, we might do it on Miles's program. That's a point. We could do it on Miles's show, if he minds. Don't think he mind. And then we'll report on Monday what's happened.
Yes.
We can show the glasses. But is it possible to have screw top ones, so if they go a bit stagnant, it doesn't get a bit whiffy in the room?
I suppose you could have it in jars, couldn't you, with like a screw top lid?
I was thinking,
like
I've got 3
jam
jars. Yeah.
Jam jars, yeah.
Mind you, I might improve the smell in here because
Okay, then.
Yeah, we might do that, won't we? Yeah. But back to watchers, people sort of watching into. But this. So, has anybody in chat ever had anybody blow something like breath on your ear, like that?
You see, no, I've not had that.
I have. It's very weird. And the other one is when I'm driving my car. Not my smart car, my other car. I feel someone sitting in the back seat.
You won't get one. You won't get anybody in the back seat of the smart car. You haven't got one.
No, you wouldn't. No, but it's my Carina. It's a 5-seater actually. It's 4-seater, general sort of. And I feel that there's somebody there looking over me. It's really weird. I've had that loads of times in that car, and some very creepy things have happened in that car, which is odd. That was the one that I heard the fairy music in.
Right, yeah.
I've never forgotten that, and I know what I heard.
I've heard fairy music. It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful you can't describe it.
No, only once. I wish I could hear it again because it's just like it's nothing like you've ever heard.
I
It's
agree
just
with you.
amazing.
What was your story? How did it happen to you?
One night I was laid in bed. It was around the time that I'd seen the fairies on my bedside cabinet, sort of in that period. And I got myself comfy, and it takes me a while to get kind of settled. And I just got myself comfy, and I thought, oh, I wonder how long it's going to take me to drop off. And I could hear this music, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was something in the house that was that had set off. And I'm trying to think what made this noise in the house. And as I listened, it got louder, and it was like it was filling the room, but not like loud. And it was just all these chimes and flutes and anything that made like tinkly noises. But it all came together and just made this beautiful music. And I laid there, I'm like, what? Where's that coming from? And then it kind of 5 minutes it played for maybe and then faded out. But that again, because I'm a night owl, that was the early hours of the morning. And there was nothing. I got up to look out of the window to see if there was anything outside, and it wasn't. It was in the room. But never heard it since.
Kind of like distant. I mean, the one I heard, it was on a full moonlit night, and this was up in Cambridgeshire, sort of on the borders of Hertfordshire, and it was along the lanes there, and I could just hear it. It's like a kind of woodwind. It's so beautiful.
No, this was like tinkling, high pitched type, but not like irritatingly squeaky high pitched. It was just like metallic type instruments, but just amazing, absolutely amazing.
John Hamer said that a friend of his, he hasn't shown the photo yet. I haven't seen it.
I've seen it. In fact, I need to dig that out. I'll send it to you. I don't know whether it's in my emails.
There's a frame, isn't there, of an actual fairy.
Yeah.
But you see, in Iceland, Christianity came to them very late.
Yeah.
And the council still work by the little people, and they'll divert a road if it upsets the little people.
Yeah.
Strongly believe in the little people. Well, isn't it strange that Iceland is a bloody long way from Ireland? Yeah. If you look on the map, but Ireland believe in the little people.
Yes, they do.
And another thing I was pointing out earlier this week on social media, that the national flag of Wales is the dragon.
Yeah.
Yet dragons are talked about in China, and you couldn't get further away from each other. Wales and China. Then why comes they're both talking about dragons?
Yes.
You know, it is very, very weird. I mean, we're going into cryptozoology here, but when you think about it, this thing, and some people in Ireland, they believe that the fairies are the watchers. They're the ones watching over us. But
is it Scandinavia that have got the trolls?
I think it is, yes.
They have a big thing about trolls and
But I wonder why they got the word troll on social media. Oh, I've been trolled and all that. It's a word you don't know where it comes from. I mean, Scandinavian trolls. It's
and how does that relate to somebody hounding you on social media?
I just don't know. I really don't know. But also, there's in wartime, there's a heck of a lot of stories about watchers. That now, my father always believed he had a guardian angel over him, because how comes he had tracer bullets all going all round him, but they missed him. They all missed him. There's people going flying, getting killed all left, right, and centre, but they missed him.
Yeah.
Very strange. But when you look at the other thing with guardian angels, and that is how your mind can play tricks with you, because when you've got heightened emotions, your mind will play tricks with you. As I say, you walk into a creepy house, something could fall on the floor, so what, But anyway, before we go further ado, top tips.
Top tips.
Tip. And this is the top tip. Sounds rude, doesn't it? For this week.
Yes.
When you buy lipstick, don't buy a small one, buy a giant.
Save yourself loads of money by getting a bulk one.
What is this? Is this an elephant? No, we won't go into that. Now,
No,
no, no. Right. This is a
even I don't know what's in this.
now.
Now,
This is a food flask. You
how
see.
big was that? A bag?
Now this food flask, it's
Yeah.
with electricity and gas. It's very expensive nowadays. So this is how you can save money. And
Yes.
if the bastards cut our gas and electricity off, and we got to use primitive methods like a fire outside, or you got a gas stove,
Gas stove.
yeah, Campion stove, you don't want to use too much gas, do you? So
No.
this is how to save it. Now, I'm not getting, shall we say, royalties from Tesco's, but if you walk into Tesco's, my local one, they got a sale on of these, not these, but similar ones, thermos flasks, food flasks. I think they're about a tenner. See, so
Right.
dip in there, you see. And what you do, I do this quite a lot actually. Potatoes, cook them for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. Then put them in the food flask, seal it up, and I made out of a trouser leg this insulated bag, which has got, you know, the polystyrene that comes in packing. That's
Yes.
round the outside of this. This is an old pair of pajamas. That's the liner. Okay. This has got what the contents of a packing on it. It's all insulated,
Yeah.
and it actually keeps it hotter a lot more efficiently because these food flasks, they're not that good. They'll only keep
No,
the
they're
food
not.
hot for a couple of hours, but this boosts that to a heck of a lot. So you've
Yeah.
really got to make it. And it's very simple to make. So I ran it up on the old, and it's a pair of old trouser leg. There's, whoops, there it is. And
It's
inside,
pajamas.
there's
He's
me
got no
pajamas. Yes,
pajamas
yes. But it really does the job. Now what you do is you could do potatoes for 10 minutes. If you leave it for about 3 or 4 hours, you can go out, you can leave it. You haven't got electricity on. It's really safe. You come back, your potato will be cooked perfectly.
now.
The other
Perfect.
one that you do is pasta. I don't cook pasta on the stove. Put pasta in there, times it by 3. So if on the packet, if it says 10 minutes, 20, make it half an hour.
Yeah.
So it always times by 3. And the longer the better. And you don't overcook. When you do broccoli, put the broccoli in there. Obviously you heat the flask first.
Yeah.
Pour boiling water on it, seal it. It'll cook
Leave
perfect.
it.
The only thing I would not cook in here is rice because you can get some nasty stuff from rice. That's got to be
Yeah.
boiled.
Yes.
But anything else, all root vegetables, anything like that. I have heard people actually cook a meal that way. I wouldn't do it, but they cooked half-cooked chicken and put it in, and it carries on cooking in this thermal thing.
Right.
I wouldn't
No.
because chicken is white meat, and chicken and pork.
Pork. I was going to say,
theory
but like
goes,
buying a pork chop in it.
that's right, goes right through. I would red meat, yes, white meat, no, because be careful. The other thing you can do with this is in the summer I go out on my bike or in the car. I've got a meal.
Yeah.
And what you can do, you can put raw vegetables in here, chop them up small. Carrots you've got to chop up small. Put some water in, stock and whatever.
Yeah.
And by the time 3 hours time, it's all cooked perfectly for the soup.
Yeah.
And you can have. I sometimes have chili con carne. I put spaghetti in here.
Yeah.
Cooked perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's great. I mean, I don't put this round it. I put this round it when I leave it at home.
Yeah.
Because if I'm going out in the morning and they're going to come back lunchtime, I've got a cooked meal there. And so it's absolutely perfect. And remember, you only cook the spuds for 10 minutes. That's all you do.
Yeah.
And anything else you do for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I have put an egg in there and it's cooked perfectly.
That's in a boiled egg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can actually raw egg. You can put it in there, pull the boiling water in, seal it, and it'll cook perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know.
So you can save a lot of money, but it's not only saving money. I don't like leaving electrical items on when I go out. So if I go out in the morning, I'll normally go out in the morning, come back, say lunchtime. I don't have to put the spuds on, potato, anything like that. They're done. And all I have to do is
See, I've got a slow cooker, which I do use quite a lot, but I think I need to find out how much they actually use because I'm not 100% sure. Mine's like a sear and stew one, so you take it's a metal one. So you do all
Yes.
your frying up or whatever you've got to do on the stove and then transfer it in. But I don't know how much they cost to run. I always thought they were
Well,
economical, but I'm not sure.
I actually have got a power meter thing which tells you what wattage it uses,
Ah,
and my one uses it. First of all, starts up with about. Well, I've got several. I've got a large slow cooker which uses 170 watts at the beginning, and you can turn it down to 90 watts.
yeah,
And I've got one that automatically turns itself down. But did
right.
you know you can use a slow cooker as an oven? I use it as an oven, and you can actually fry stuff in there.
I could,
No, you can actually do baked potatoes. I do jacket potatoes in there.
right?
You have to put water in. So what I do, I line it with a bit of paper. That would be you can get the baking paper in
Yeah, greaseproof.
grease proof. You put a little bit of that so it doesn't stick like shit to blankets and so
Yeah,
on.
because sometimes it does.
That's right. And then what you do, you put all your you put a raw potato in there, all the other stuff, and it's exactly the same as an oven. And
Right.
then I've actually put parsnips in there, and
Oh, love
I've
parsnips.
I love parsnips. You ever done parsnip chips?
Yes.
Lovely. In the air fryer. But no, what you do is you put a raw potato in there, you put raw vegetables in as well, and it'll cook just the same as oven, but it takes about 4 hours, 3 to 4
Right.
hours, which
Yeah.
is good. You do it in the morning and
Oh, yeah.
lunchtime, you've got a lovely meal.
Yeah.
But I don't like leaving it on when I go out, and sometimes I cook over the night. I'll put it on before I go to bed, and next morning, if it's a large
Yeah.
meal, when I wake up, it's cooking, and you just put
Yes.
it on low. You just leave it low all night.
Yeah.
But that is money saving tips. But it's about the cost of an old lamp, basically.
Right.
So it won't cost you as much as a. I mean, when you think it's what, 100, it's about 90 watts. Um, so an oven is what? How many? 1,500?
Something like that. Yeah.
2,000, about 2,000 watts. Compared with 100, I think we're saving a little bit of money.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So that's the money saving tip this week. Get
Yeah.
yourself a food flask. Trouble is a bit of a bastard to wash out, but apart from that, it's all
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and but it's actually often in the summer I might go for a little cycle run, and I put my food flask in my backpack,
Yeah.
and I'll sit there and eating my food, watching the stupid bastards queuing up at the cafe for the
Yeah.
tracks out. I'm sitting eating my meal.
Being fortune with bacon butter.
That's right. Anyway, back to the watchers.
Yes.
Watching over you. Have you ever had a situation that turns out that you don't think is in your favour, but is in your favour? Where you initially think, oh, bloody hell, why's this gone bad like this? And it hasn't.
Yes. I have, but I don't want to go into it because
I
it's
understand. Well,
not.
I did.
It's not a recent thing. It's a few years ago, but it wasn't a good time. But as it
Right.
turned out, what I thought was not a good time turned out absolutely perfectly.
Yeah.
So looking back now, I think all the trauma that I went through and to where I am now couldn't have worked out any better.
Well, trauma, when you come to
Time,
think,
you don't see
yeah,
it.
that's right. But isn't that one more qualification in the University of Life?
Yeah, it is.
Because a
Certainly
calm
a
sea,
learning curve.
well, a calm sea never made a good captain, did it?
No.
Think about it. When you look at, well, the toughest boxers have the toughest sparring partners, and in wartime, the toughest troops, the most crack troops, have had the toughest of jobs.
Yeah.
That's how they got good.
Yeah.
You have it easy, no, you too. But if you have it tough, it brings out, I think, the qualities in people.
Yeah.
But well,
Definitely.
look what happened. I think it was this time last year. My internet was going tits up all the time. Do you remember that? And it had a touch of John Amos.
Yeah, it did.
Do you remember that one with Gloria Moss? Her internet was up the spout. Mine was up the spout. And it's also had literally
We've got on the show between you.
Yeah. But John Amos said, ditch your landline, go over total to SIM card. I did. Wow.
Yeah.
And I found out, and it's a lot cheaper as well.
Yeah.
And also, you've got full control because
Yeah.
if anything goes wrong, you don't have to wait for the company to send you another router. You just sod off down the road, buy another router down at Argos.
Yeah.
That's the thing of it. That's the best thing. But the other thing we was going to go into with this watchers. Do you think that we reincarnate? I do believe in reincarnation because in places like India, there's children that can describe quite accurately places they've never been to in their life. And I've often said that when I was a kid, we used to go on holiday to Cornwall, and I used to say, "We're going home."
Yeah.
I felt that was my home.
Yeah.
I still do feel that Cornwall is my home.
It's funny you should say that about reincarnation because that's my next video on Sunday at 4 p.m. in the afternoon.
We need an advert. Come on, we need an advert. Where is it? Now, where's the advert? We lost it, haven't we?
I don't know.
It's here somewhere.
Deb's YouTube, I found it. Let's
Where
bob this up again then.
Hey? Wow. So when is it again?
Sunday at 4 p.m. GMT.
4 p.m.
4 p.m. The afternoon.
Afternoon.
Afternoon. But this next week's one's about reincarnation. There's some quite interesting stories that I've found. So yes.
I think I'll be watching that. That'd be cool.
That was synchronicity, Chris.
It really was. Reincarnation.
Yeah. Yes.
But no, really, when you look at reincarnation, I do believe there is, because I've been to places that I'm sure I've been to before. And this thing with Cornwall, what is it about Cornwall that I feel is my home?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know on my mother's side is Cornish, maybe.
Yeah.
But they're Cornish French. They originally came from France, which is weird.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's a sort of but isn't it odd? As a child, I'd say we're going home.
Yeah.
And the closer we got there, the more I was feeling I was going home. I thought that was my home.
Yeah, there must have been something that drew you.
Yeah, so it's odd, very very. But look what happened to, was it Jeremy Irons? He kept being drawn to this place in Ireland, and he kept going there and going there and going there. And he just couldn't understand why he kept going there. He had this attraction to it, and he found out his great 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 grandmother came from there.
Yeah. That's amazing, isn't it?
It is odd. I'll tell you another thing is that do you ever feel that you're guided by something?
I'm starting to do that a bit more now. I didn't, but I downloaded an app, and that'd interest you actually. It's about when you do you there's a word for it. Not PSI. Come on, somebody.
Oh, hang on. Interceptory perception.
Yeah. And there's an app you can get, and you've got to go with you to train yourself to do it. And I've been kind of doing that, and I've been getting better results just going with my instinct, my first instinct.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm like, at first, ESP, that's it. Thank you, Robert. When I first downloaded the app, the first go I got everyone wrong. And then I thought, no, I'm doing this wrong. I need to think. And it gives you like 4 symbols, like a square, a circle, a star, and a cross, or whatever, in different colours. And you have to guess which is the next one that's going to be the right one. And I am getting pretty good results now. I'm just going with my first instinct, gut instinct. So
it's like that chap, Sheldrake, what's his name now? That scientist. he does some incredible results with ESP and things like that.
Yeah.
And there is Rupert, that's it, Rupert Sheldrake.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'd come on the show. He's been on Richard's show, Richard D. Hall show. It'd be great
Yeah.
to get him on here. He is a very, very interesting, and he's a down-to-earth scientist.
Yeah.
He knows this bullshit.
Right,
He knows his stuff. And this is what gets me. Gut feeling. Now, our gut is actually linked to our brain.
Yeah.
And I've often found, this sounds a bit weird, this really, when you're trying to design something, was actually told this at college. If you can't get the answer, go to the loo and come back again. And it helps your brain to
I've
think.
heard that before as well.
Yeah, and you notice. So you look at design and try to design something. You can't go to the loo. And I don't know what it is about going to the loo, relieving your bladder, makes you think clearer. But also our gut is actually linked to our head. And when you think people having all this junk food, that must be doing something to their mind.
Yeah.
Because you get a gut reaction,
Yeah.
and they've actually proven that's how our ancestors survived. Because you think, well, I won't go down there because there might be a lion down there or a tiger. Hello, you've gone. Hello, what happened?
I've no idea. I've just got cut off.
Ooh,
It's not my internet. My internet's perfect.
ooh.
It was very odd.
That was bloody weird. It just went straight out,
Yeah. And
But
I wasn't offering it. It just went. Oh, anyway.
perhaps something's looking down at us.
Yeah. Wanting
But
to shut
hang
me
on,
up.
we got Robert. Oh, hang on, what Robert's did something interesting. Hello, Robert. Debbie speaks of gut instinct. There is so much history linking the stomach with the spirit and intuition. The Zulu warriors would open the stomachs of their enemy in order to release their spirits. That's right.
I've heard that, Robert. Yeah.
Yes. And I'll tell you a very nice thing is, did you know that the Zulus go to a place in Wales each year? They used to, I don't know if they still do. And they're both have got ancestors that were at Rorke's Drift. I don't know if you've seen the film Zulu with Mortal Kane.
A long
Or
time ago.
just blow the bloody doors off. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he's reading the script there or not, but anyway. And and sorry, I don't like Michael Caine's acting. But I was going to say is that, and they do a Zulu warrior march down the street in Wales, and all very friendly. It's all very nice. But the Zulus, they are quite. They did you know that their warriors were drugged? They had things to, yeah. Yes.
Strange.
But Emmons says something interesting. The gut bacteria influence the brain. They can affect what you want to eat. That's correct.
That's another thing. I once remember reading something somewhere about if you need to eat, but you don't want to eat, or something to do with food.
Mm-hmm.
If what your body wants, if you put on a plate what you want to eat, and if your body wants it, your stomach reacts. So you kind of hold your plate up against your stomach, and your stomach will react to whether you want that food or not. But I mean, you could be going through all sorts in your cupboards and fridge, couldn't you, doing that really? But
that is very weird. I'll tell you what I'm trying to avoid now. It's processed food. But it's very difficult. You get things like, I mean, you've got to, I like to, I'm a prepper. I've actually stocked up with tins and things. And the things that last are corned beef and things like that. That lasts a long time.
Tin corned beef.
Or what about tin bacon? What do they call it? Spam. Spam?
Yeah, I like spam.
Actually, I don't get spam. I get the cheaper stuff. Was it tulip?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah,
I've had that before. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a bloke on what's his name now on YouTube, and he compares the expensive with the cheap. Neil from
Yeah.
Hello, we got back to the funny noises again. Here we go. What is going on with this thing? I'm just sitting here, I'm not touching anything, and it's still going.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah,
I got cut off and you're tinkling.
it's my end. I think is the problem. This computer's got a mind of its own. But
Yeah.
no, it's fine. I actually find that because the ham, I think Spam were the first people to devise cooking it actually in the tin. It's cooked in the tin. And but I reckon the Peck brand is just as good. And it's
I like Peck as well. I have little phases of eating Peck sandwiches, and I do like Peck.
I do. I don't buy bacon. I just get a tin of the old processed ham, cut it down, and fry it. Because bacon goes like bloody water, sticks like shit to a blanket, whereas this it doesn't.
And you can see through it.
Yes.
I don't know what all that's about. I fried some bacon yesterday, and you could have used it as net curtains. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's stringy as well.
I haven't found it to be stringy. I've just found it to be kind of see-through.
Horrible, isn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, I think we're coming up to the time now, aren't we?
Yes, I shall find the outro.
Find the outro. And remember, we're on this Thursday, 8 o'clock.
Yes.
With Miles, with his excellent computer. His iPad. So
we'll make it work.
We'll make it work. So remember, we've all got to think positive thoughts. Miles won't be going.
It should be perfectly fine.
Do you know? When was it? Saturday. He was at his shop. I was here. I said, right, Miles, we'll test this Chromebook. He said, right, worked bloody marvellously.
Yeah.
Beautiful it was.
Then it blew up.
He bounced on it. It's blown up.
We'll make it work.
What is looking in? You don't know. And then next Monday, we got Michelle from Bolton on talking about a bit dicky down below.
Yes.
And everybody's wondering, what's that about?
It's not about what you think it's about.
No, it's not rude. No. Children can watch it.
Yes, perfectly safely.
Can we give a little, shall we say, hang on. There's a little quirk.
I think.
Imagine those hands are different hands.
Yes. Anyway. That's all we're telling you. You're going to have to tune in.
That's right, yes. Hang on, we've got Michelle here I don't eat meat anymore. Alkaline water, fruit and veg, lots of ginger, lemon and honey.
I like ginger, lemon and honey.
I do as well. And we'll be back with more top. We won't be doing it on Thursday, but on Monday we'll be back with more top tips.
Top tips.
And I might have another fake guru on.
Oh, excellent.
Lovely glue.
And I'll sort my video out as well.
Yes.
So it's not taking up like just the middle of the screen.
And as soon as John Hamer sorts his bloody computer out, he'll come back on.
Yeah, we'll let him back on again. But until that time,
could we raise a fund for him to get a good computer with a bloody good graphics card on it? That'll do the trick.
It would.
Yes. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And remember, whatever happens, put the old thumbs up.
Yeah. Like, share, comment.
Share, comment. And the next person on, hang on, we've got Deb and myself and Dr. Fleetwood on Thursday. Then we got Deb's show at 4 o'clock on Sunday. And then we're back on Monday with mystery guest called Michelle Scouse.
Yes.
So
very mysterious.
Very mysterious. So she isn't the. Oh well, I've said it now. No, I've said it. Oh well. Anyway, whatever happens, have a bloody good laugh.
Yes.
And see you next Thursday. See you Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.